Hello, class. I wanted to answer a problem from the homework 5 set. This is problem number 5. So it says we survey 1,100 adults and ask, are you a total abstainer from or do you consume on occasion alcoholic beverages? So it looks like 374 of the 1,100 were abstainers and 330 out of 1,100 were abstainers. Right, so it looks like we asked the question 2 times. The first time we surveyed 1,100 adults, this is the result. Then in a more recent survey, we asked the same number of people, and you can see how the results have changed, right? So the first time we asked was in 1943, and the second time we asked was more recent. So the proportion of adults who took the 1943 survey that were abstainers, that would be 374 out of 1,100. So I will do that in my calculator, right? 374 out of 1,100. There we go, 374 divided by 1,100. That gives me 0.34. So I'll enter that here. And then the proportion of adults in a more recent survey were 330 out of 1,100. So let's do 330 divided by 1,100, and we get 0.3. Okay, let's check our answers, and we get the well done. Next, it says, has the proportion of adults who abstain changed, right? So we want to know, based on this, has there been a big change since 1943? And we want to test this at the 10%, 0.10 level of significance. All right, so but before we do that, we have to answer this question. First, verify the model requirements. So I've checked the sample size is less than 5% of the population size. The samples are independent, and we had this, n times p hat times the quantity of 1 minus p hat is greater than or equal to 10, and the same goes for the second sample. I think that's everything we need. I press check answer, and we get the fantastic. Next, we need the null and the alternative hypothesis. So again, we want to see the null hypothesis would be that the two proportions are equal. And the question is, has there been a change since 1943? So this would be not equal. Check answer. We get the well done. Now we're asked to find the test statistic. So let's use StatCrunch here. If I press the question help button and open up StatCrunch, we can do stat proportion stats. Now this is 2 samples. Previously we've been working with 1 sample, and we have the summary, right? So in 1943 there were 374 out of 1,100, and more recently we still ask 1,100 people, but the number was 330. And our hypothesis test, see if I can make this bigger. Excuse me. Oops. Having technical difficulties here. Here we go. Right, I click the hypothesis radio button, and I think that's all I need. I press compute, and here is my test statistic, the z-stat. So I will just cut and paste here and enter that in here. Now they did say to go 2 decimal places, so I can actually kind of just truncate or round to 2.01. I press check answer. Fantastic. And then next they ask for the p-value, so we have that here when we did our hypothesis test, right? It was this 0.0443. So I will put that in here, and I think we round to 3 decimal places. Oops. 0.044, I check answer. And we get the good job. And then the last piece here. So I put in, if the population and proportions are equal, one would expect the sample difference proportion greater than the absolute value of the one observed in about 4 out of 100 repetitions of this experiment. Now, why did I say 4? Well, if my p-value was 0.044, well, if you multiply that by 100, basically that's like moving the decimal 2 places to the right, so you end up with 4.4. So I round that to 4, okay? If this was 0.05, I would have put in a 5 here. If this was 0.09, I'd put a 9 here. Okay, so to state your conclusion for the hypothesis test, so my p-value is less than the level of significance, right, or alpha. Alpha is 0.1, and my p-value is less than 0.1. So if it's less than, we reject. So my answer is either going to be A or C. We reject the hypothesis, and we can say, let me read the. So I'm going to say we reject. There is sufficient evidence at the 0.10 level of significance to suggest that the proportion of adults who totally abstain from alcohol has changed, right? Remember, if we reject our null, right, we're saying that P1 does not equal P2. That means we accept H1, or the alternative hypothesis, so we're saying there's enough evidence to suggest that the population proportions are no longer equal, which means they've changed. That should do it for question number 5. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.